Hello everyone, Spitefire H2O here. We're back with another episode of whatever I'm going to call this one from now on. I don't know anymore. But I am joined today by...
Me, I'm some random guy you've never heard of.
Exactly. This is the Stin. Stin.
That's what people call me.
Colbane. Stint. Whatever you want to call him.
There's only one person that calls me Stint, and they know who they are.
If that didn't give it away, yeah. So, yes, this is going to be another podcast type thing. I've been meaning to bring this back, but unfortunately, time got a hold of me, and gaming also got a hold of me as well. So, and since, my buddy Paul is focused more upon the gaming part of this channel, I decided to bring in a new co-host who is still just as intelligent and all that jazz. So yeah, that's where Sting comes in.
Maybe slightly less. I'm a lot louder, probably.
That is actually very debatable because Paul is extremely loud. I've had to always turn down his mic whenever we did it before.
I guess I meant thematically.
How so?
I'm very hard-fixed in the way that I feel about things, especially on this upcoming topic, so I'll try to tone myself down.
He's basically going to be like an Alex Jones right here.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to relate it back to the frogs and the water and so forth, but it might get close to there.
Alright, so what we're going to be talking about today is content creators. How they grind up building their fan bases and all that fun stuff with everything.
How they grind up their fan bases. I'm just imagining they're shoving their fans into a meat grinder. Just churning them up and money's coming out. Sorry.
That's actually an interesting way to look at it.
Well, I mean, imagine the people, the meat getting stuffed in, and instead of sausage links, it's just rolls of quarters. I don't know.
I think it'd be all the monetization signs.
I think it'd be a political cartoon, probably.
It fits it. It does sound like it could fit into that.
No one steal that. That's mine. Put my name on it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, the content creators grind. We're going to be basically talking about things that we like that some people do, the inverse of that with their dislikes, our opinions based upon all that stuff, our personal preferences of everything, and, any little doodads we come up with. So, how do you feel about the way people, try to attract an audience?
I think there's a lot of approaches that content creators take. But I think there's one dominant way that most of them take. And I think, I don't want to say the problem, but the reason why is there's a lot of people who go into making content. And the one I'm most familiar with, I'm going to be speaking from my experience on Twitch. A lot of people, before they stream, they start out as a viewer. And I guess probably the same with YouTube. And they're going to have their favorite content creator who's going to, influence them in the way that they make things. And maybe to an extreme degree where they're almost literally the same thing, or in more subtle ways. But I think the most common thing that ends up happening is you just get people who keep using the same grind approach, which is growing up your audience and making your content more available or well-known or accessible. It seems like people tend to just keep adopting the same approaches. So you have 60% of people do the same way. And then you have some random outliers who have these really bizarre but kind of creative ways about growing their channels. I tend to gravitate towards the outliers because I really respect creativity and kind of the mavericks of content creation. They may not be the most popular, but for me, I like being able to respect the people I watch. So it's just kind of my position on, I guess, the mainstream way of growing, which I can't say is a bad way to grow because it gives results, but I tend to like the ones who go against it. And when it comes to mainstream growth, what I'm referring to is, oh gosh, there's like a big grocery list here. So I'm not going to say how I feel about them. I'm just going to try and list them off first. The first thing is like incentivization. Where if people give enough follows, they'll do something for the stream. Or they give enough subs, they'll do something for the stream. Like, oh, we'll have a drunk stream. Or I'll have a giveaway. Or...
I honestly thought you said drug
stream. I'll do drugs on stream.
You gotta snort all the marijuana.
I wonder what would legally happen if you donated towards that knowingly. That'd be interesting. But again, with that approach, I think there's good and bad ones. I think most of them are a little conceited, but that's just me. There's also the ways that people treat their chat to grow. One of the best ways to grow or grind is to, be nice to your audience, interact with them. I've never really seen many streams or YouTube channels grow without interacting or at least giving feedback or responding to feedback, because I guess Twitch and YouTube handle their audience a little differently, whereas on Twitch you can immediately talk to them as you're producing stuff, whereas on YouTube you have your comments, you have messages, but there's like a delay. So there's a bit of difference in that, but both of them kind of require that you can't just ignore your audience. So one of the best ways that I've seen to grow, and I completely agree with it, is to interact with your chat. Now, the difference is genuine chat interaction and disingenuous chat interaction. So, what do you think about that, Spite?
About, people interacting with chat and everything?
Yeah.
Like, I think as long as it's, not forced or, like, trying to be nice, you are being genuine with it, like... Mm-hmm. Oh yes, thank you for like chatting with me and everything, but don't be like ignore them completely and be like, yeah, okay, you're chatting, I don't care, I'm just gonna keep focus on this. Of course, that also goes to the big streamers. In the Twitch example, they can't read the chat and everything because it's flying by at light speed and whatnot. But for like smaller streamers, obviously, when you're trying to grow a channel. And since we're just going to be talking about Twitch for a bit, I just focus on that. You have to be genuine with it. If you're, what's the word you use? Disgenuine?
Yeah, disingenuous.
Disingenuous?
I may have made up that word. I'm also claiming that. No one steal that word. It's mine.
But yeah, if you're disingenuous, we're going to make it a thing now.
I'm pretty sure it's real.
I don't know. You can Google it while we're talking. But I completely lost my train of thought, Stin. Dang it. Oh, I remember now. If you are, faking it, being like, oh yeah, thanks, it makes people leave. Like, I have a hard time trying to visualize what I'm talking about.
Well, I think with disingenuous and genuine, there's two sides to each of them, so it's pretty complex. Yeah. So focusing on genuine interaction, you can genuinely want to talk with them, or you can genuinely not want to talk. Now, either way, you're being real about how you feel, which is important. But you can't really expect to grow if you do not talk to people. Otherwise, why are you there? If you hate people that much, why are you sharing what you do with people? This also adds into really combative streamers who are very genuine in how they feel, but argue and fight with the chat. Now there's debating. As, like me and you here, we're going to disagree on a lot of this.
Maybe.
But we're debating. I'm not going to disrespect you. I'm not going to yell at you and say, you're stupid.
Yeah, you do that enough without us debating.
I do that off the record. But I have seen, and there's not a lot of them, but I have seen a lot of smaller streamers who just don't know how to handle their public face. You're basically a public figure. Whether how big or small you are, you have to be able to take what comes at you. And I think some people just, there's nothing wrong with them, but their personality is very easily disturbed by people who challenge them. And then they lash out, and that will definitely, like, you won't grow. You'll just go backwards. You'll lose people by doing that. But you're still being genuine. Now, being genuine and being nice to people is, like, probably the best way to grow. That's ideal. But like you said, that's easier with a smaller stream. It's kind of hard when you've got like 50,000 people and your chat is just, lightning quick and you can't read it. So, at least for Twitch, you can do sub-only mode or follower only. Where, there's some problems with that too, where you may be excluding people. Like, what if I don't have $5 to give you? Or, whatever. You're going to exclude those people, so there's growth you don't have because you're kind of shutting them out a little bit, even though you may have really good intentions in controlling the chat. On the flip side, you could have bad intentions and have, like, follower only, sub only, just for the sake of growing. Now, you might be, like, thinking, well, bad intentions, like, just trying to grow, is that really bad intentions? I would say it is. You can completely disagree, and I understand why people would disagree with that. But as a person who makes content, or at least even as an artist in general, which is kind of a weird label to put on what we do as art, but it's true. It's true. When you create something, it's art. It might not be a painting, but it's still a form of creativity. You need to do it because you like it, because you care about it, and you want to share it with people. You can't go into it saying, I want to be famous, because then you'll never be famous, because people will see through you. People are a lot smarter than what, a lot of content creators may give them credit. They're eventually going to see through you, and then they will turn on you. Rightfully so, because then you're just manipulating them to invest in something that you don't care about. And you're lying about how much you care about it. And you're just putting on a facade, and people are going to see through it. That's why it's important that you care and you're genuine. On the other side, now that we're done with the genuineness, whether you're going to be a nice or bad person, on the disingenuous, it's all about believability with chat interaction. So you have very believable people who are like, oh man, thanks for that follow. You're like my best friend. Like, they make you feel warm and fuzzy, right? They tell you what you want to hear. You're like, oh man, you're my, like the daddy's club thing, like that weird kind of thing some streamers do, where they make you feel nice, but they're just there to get your money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
I'm not gonna call out anyone. I won't. But it happens, and it happens a lot. Then you have unbelievable disingenuous people who are like, yeah, thanks, yeah, that's cool. Like you mentioned that earlier. So there's like 4 different paths you can go on chat interaction, and that applies to streaming on YouTube too, or just making videos. Making videos, it's a bit of a slower process, but I think it still happens.
Yeah, it happens a little bit, but not as much. You have to have people actually want to comment on your videos, but
right, and that takes time and investment, and most people are lazy. I'm lazy. I can't blame them.
You can only blame yourself for being lazy.
So, were there any other aspects about the grind or growth that you thought were important? I know we talked about like incentives and chat interaction, but there's a lot more to it.
Oh, there are plenty of things. One that I like talking about is the follow for follow or sub for sub things, because it doesn't work. No matter what people think it does, like, oh yes, I have a whole bunch of subs, I have a whole bunch of followers. If those people aren't going to stick around and watch your content or interact with you, they're just emptiness.
You're an inflated channel.
Exactly.
That's what you are. You're a big balloon that's going to pop.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you have a lot of followers or a lot of subs, but who's going to be there watching you? Like, who's going to help you give feedback for your channel?
Who's going to remember you in 5 years?
Exactly.
And I'm not saying, like, oh, everything you should do should be like, oh, people will remember me in 10, 15 years. Like, no. I'm not saying do it for that purpose. But people who are genuine, creative, and original people are timeless. You remember them forever. Like the original YouTubers. Fred. You know, he was original. He was creative.
He was.
Yeah, he had his own TV show. And when he went into that, I think things kind of, you know, when he went into the money part of it, which I can't really blame him. I mean, you get a movie deal. Like, would you really pass up on it? But, like I said, when you move away from your roots and your people and, like, your interest, then it kind of brings you down. Wait, what were we talking about? Anytime, like, Fred is mentioned, my brain just goes away.
We're talking about, you know, follow for follow, sub for sub.
Oh, right.
And how creativity. You went on a tangent off of creativity. How it's like makes you memorable.
Right. Inflatedness. Yeah, that's where I was getting at. Being inflated. Yeah, it's important that your growth is organic.
Indeed.
And not like this magical fertilizer that another follow for follow or sub for sub group gives you, like, to make you like a giant channel, because, you know, you can't support yourself. Say you do get like 50,000 followers and like 1,000 subs or something. How do you live up to that? What if you can't live up to it? What if your content really isn't that good? People are going to notice, and they're going to leave because they have no reason to be there. Like, if you can't provide them something, they're just wasting their time. People's time are important to them. You know, work all day and deal with family and sleep and stuff. You only have a few hours, most people, a day to spend on things that you like. But if you're there and you're pretending to be this big streamer who's really good at stuff and you're really not that good, like you're just not at that point yet, or, you know, you're just honestly trying to deceive people, people are going to notice and they're going to unfollow you and they're going to go spend their time elsewhere and their money elsewhere. And you can't really fault them for that. You have to respect your viewers and their time. That's why it's important that it's organic. Your follows are because people want to follow, not because you manipulate them to follow or you inflate them in the follow for follow thing, because it's just going to reset you. You're just going to end up having to be organic anyway. Why waste your time and your credibility by inflating yourself when you could just spend less time, and in fact you can improve yourself, so when you do get to that point where you have 50,000 followers, it's because you earned them. It's because people like you. It's because what you do is really good. It's just, I don't get it, and you're right, but a lot of people fall into it because they see the lure of the big shiny number at the top that says how many followers, how many subs, or whatever. It's just, it's not only manipulating the viewers, but it's those follow for follow people manipulating small streamers too. So not only are the viewers getting scammed, the channels are getting scammed too.
How?
But
like, what do you mean by that?
Well, everyone's getting scammed, really, because it just doesn't work, like you said. Like, people will eventually figure it out. So why is everyone wasting their time with it? Everyone's getting scammed. Even the people who are running the follow-to-follow things. People will see that you're follow for follow and just be like, okay, if you're not a channel, like if you're not like a Twitch streamer, or I don't think I've ever seen them on YouTube, but I guess they might exist. If you're a viewer, why would you care about that channel? They give you nothing. They're only there for other channels. Right?
Right. But Stin, before you continue on with this, just remember, people aren't as smart as you're thinking they are. Like, most newer content creators are young kids who like see like all the big people, like,
right?
You know, PewDiePie, Markiplier, are like, oh yes, I want to be just like that. But I don't have the numbers for it. Maybe I should just like follow for follow, or sub for sub, whatever, and get my numbers up there. And then somehow that will equal me having good content.
Right, and you know what? The kid who gets disillusioned like that, they're responsible for making that bad decision. And, you know, eventually when the tower falls over, they are responsible. But the original responsibility, and I think, of course, they're not going to hear my voice on this because no one really knows me. But I think the people at the top, these top YouTubers, these top streamers, need to take responsibility for the future of the platform. They need to understand that what they do trickles down all the way to the newest of the newest people. And especially for kids who they model their behavior after their role models. If your role model is obsessed with how many subs, followers, and whatever that they have, whether they're being appreciative or grateful in the most, graceful YouTuber or streamer they can be, if you highlight that so much, that's all those kids are ever going to think about. And I think that's the problem with these platforms too, is the fact that they're obsessed with numbers because it makes revenue. But since they're so obsessed with those numbers and revenue, these newer channels, that's all they think about. And I can't really blame them because that's all that they know sometimes. And they focus less on being original and being good at what they do and just overall making a good channel. And all they focus on is growing, but not the substance. So you get a lot of channels that grow up really quick, but there's nothing there, so they just fall over. And it just repeats. But I think it's at the top where the real problem lies, because that's where everyone's looking. So these big YouTubers, and especially people running the platform, who basically force these top YouTubers and streamers to be this way, because, they got to make a living. I can't really blame them for doing what their boss tells them, but it sets up a lot of these newer channels for failure, because they see that, but it doesn't work at that lower level when you're obsessed with it that early. So, that's kind of my rant.
Yeah. Any other parts, at all, do you want to talk about stuff like that,
Growth. Well, beyond growth of, followers and subs, and that the consumer, because at the end of the day, you're selling a product to consumers. It's what it is. Whether it's, for free, or whatever, people are consuming your entertainment.
That's an odd way of wording that.
Beyond support from the viewers, a lot of larger channels get support from sponsors. So, in accordance with growth, sponsors play a pretty significant role. So I want to know what you think about sponsorships.
Sponsorships as in, merchandising or everything like that? Or
Well, Razer, Monster.
Those type of things.
The big ones, yeah.
What I think about sponsorships? Well, as long as it's not, force-fed into you every, second of the video. They have, a good, 30 seconds of it on there and whatnot of them, endorsing it, whatever product they're paid to sponsor. I'm fine with that. But if they're I don't have any idea of any people in mind who have full-on merch of it, where it's just in your face the entire time, or overlays where it has their sponsor in the corner of it at all times. That's where it starts getting annoying.
Well, one I can think of, and I think he does it well. I'm not saying this that he's doing it bad, but one who does have it constantly, I know Maximilian dude, I think he has one. It's it's so out of the way, it's there, you see it, but it blends in with the overlay, it's integrated well. It's not obtuse.
Okay.
And I think I can understand that.
As long as you're okay with that, it's it blends in, as long as it doesn't just stand out, it's not its own thing. It won't bother me as much. But that's just the visual appeal of it, I guess.
Have you ever seen anyone? I haven't. Have you ever seen anyone that just stops their stream I gotta do a plug. Here's my succulent LaCroix carbonated soda water. Have you ever seen anyone do that? They actually just do a tiny commercial in their stream?
I honestly haven't, but I don't watch as much streamers as I used to.
I would like to know. I think for people who are watching this, I would really like to see the worst of the worst on Twitch and YouTube that just are so disingenuous. They're so like plugging just merch. Like they're just like despisable in the way that they're just there to make money. Because I have never seen one just sit there and do a plug, but I could totally see it though. You know, like I wouldn't put it past someone.
I think it's more common in videos than in streams. Like obviously, like sponsorships.
I guess you could skip past it in a video.
Yeah, but streams, like I haven't seen it yet. I've seen plenty of videos where it's like.
I've seen ironic ones.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it done ironically, like a headset or mouse or something, but they don't actually mean it. It's like a meme thing.
I think I've seen Mr. Beast do that a few times.
What do you think about transparency of sponsorships?
In what aspect? Like just being upfront, like straight up, like telling.
Well, there are people who say, "Wow, I really love this product. It's so good, guys. You should get." And it turns out to be a horrible product.
Oh. Well, I guess.
Whereas people,
it depends actually.
Whereas there's people who get sponsorships from literally things that they use and like if you go back in their previous content, especially for streamers, like they drink Monster all the time before they even got sponsored. It makes sense, you know what I mean? Like it's something they like, so of course they're gonna like be okay sponsoring it because they believe in it. Then you have people who just don't believe in it at all. They're only there because they're only using it because they get paid to use it.
Yeah, transparency definitely is a big factor in it. Like all the things you just said. Like if it's something they use every day, as long as they're honest about it, like yeah, okay, good. But if it's something they're forced to do, it's like no.
What do you think about people who list who their sponsors are? Like I know, of course, if you're getting sponsored, you're going to show off. Like that's part of the job is showing the product, right? What do you think about people who like list out like, oh my, I'll give you for instance Tim the Tap Man. He's a very transparent guy. I respect him. Monster Energy, Audio Technica, I don't know, Cyber Power PC and Razer. He just lists them all out. So you know pretty much why he has that stuff, and you know he does it to get paid because it's his job. Whereas there might be people who are like, hey, I heard about this new soda, LaCroix. Oh my god, it's so... You know, like, there's a difference between being transparent and clear, like, hey guys, these are my sponsors, they're paying me to show this off, but I do actually really like this, and you guys who've been here for a while know I've liked this, but, you know, now they're supporting us so we can go to stream. Both have sponsors, you know, but both go about it differently. And I think when you're transparent and respect your audience, you're probably going to grow a lot more. Yeah,
I can see that. Being honest in general is just a major thing that you should do anyway, but yeah.
Would given the opportunity to have sponsors, like if I ever did, which I probably won't, being all honest, I probably wouldn't take it. I really wouldn't. Do I look down on other people or disagree when other people get sponsorships? No. You gotta make like if you want to be a full-time streamer, you gotta make money somehow. And especially on YouTube, where the pay is so irregular or just janked, I can't blame them. Like, there's nothing wrong with getting sponsorships. That's great. I'm really happy for you. I just like having control over my stuff. That's just the kind of person I am. And I know a few others like that. How do you feel about sponsors? Like, if you were given the opportunity to have a sponsorship, or several even, how would you go about it?
Well, as long as it was something that I was okay with. Like, if it's something I was against, then I wouldn't, I'm not going to sell out for stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's something like I use or like I enjoy, I'll be like, okay, I'll sponsor you, no problem.
I want to hear your LaCroix voice.
I don't even know what LaCroix is.
You really don't?
No, I don't.
I swear people have been getting sponsored by LaCroix in some videos I've been watching because that's all they talk
If I can
about.
Google this, how do you spell it?
It's like soda water. It's like carbonated water. There's no sugar, or, sodium. Like it's healthy
sparkling
soda
water.
Pretty much with like mango or lemon flavor. It tastes horrible, but you get used to it. But yeah, I've been doing a running meme with my friends about being sponsored by LaCroix. And I do that voice because it's always like these really top tier, like hundreds of $1,000s a year YouTubers that I end up seeing use it.
Have you seen LaCroix? It is like the most delicate drink I've ever had.
It's like the name is begging to be said like that too.
LaCroix, if you listen
you
to this,
can't say it with
sponsor us.
Pepsi. You can't say that with Pepsi. You can't be like, Pepsi. Like, no, that doesn't work. LaCroix. It sounds like French, even though I think it is French. I think that's a French word. Anyway, growing channels. LaCroix. I swear, they must have, like, brainwashed me. I must have been kidnapped to promote this. You know, I said I didn't want sponsors. Well, you know what? I guess I didn't have a choice.
LaCroix,
be careful, guys.
Please.
Be careful. If you ever have missing time, it may have been sponsors hijacking your brain to sell products.
That's like a whole new conspiracy theory you just thought up.
Oh, I don't think I ever really went into incentives. So I guess, like, with incentives, I mean, like, giveaways, you know, certain streams or certain activities for, like, reaching goals. So I guess incentives and goals, what do you think about that? Because I know that you've had a few, haven't you?
Yeah, when I was still growing, and I stopped doing it. Like, when I reached my first 100 subscribers, I had a game giveaway on YouTube. I didn't do anything for, really, Twitch. Oh, actually I did. I pre-ordered Friday the 13th, and I gave away keys for followers, which, yeah. I'm guilty of doing incentive stuff like that.
Hey, like, just being honest about it, automatically, that's fine.
But, what do I think about it? Well, in reason, I guess, if you like showing thanks to someone, like if there's like no like actual you know, what's the word? Crap, I can't think of the word. Like if you just give it away to like anyone who is following you without having like, oh yeah, no, that's not where I'm going with this. I can't think of the word that I was thinking of.
Do you want some time to think about that word, and I'll rant for a bit?
No, if you start ranting, I'll completely forget about it. But like there's no special way like you have to like, you know, like follow this, follow that, follow this, follow everything. Like if it's just
where they make you mass do it,
yeah,
like you have to do everything.
Like if it's just like, oh yeah, you're in a stream right now, just give it away right then and there. That's fine.
Yeah, where it's kind of off the cuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And not designed to inflate your statistics, which is what a lot of them do it for, is for growing statistics, especially on Twitch. Because they pay attention to that whenever you get promoted from, like, say, affiliate to partner. They look at your statistics. Now, if you're in, like, a month, I think what people do, and I could be wrong, I think what people do, because, you know, there's, like, a time period when they're looking at you, because you have a certain amount of followers or whatever, and you have to meet that extra requirement. I think they start doing giveaways right around there and like, come on, guys, we're having fun. I'm totally not applying for a better job. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to that with streamers. Be an informed, intelligent viewer.
Precisely.
Know the person you're watching and know the platform. Understand what they're trying to do. Now, making money is not a bad thing. Making money without doing any work is a bad thing. Without deserving it is a bad thing. Those are very subjective terms, but I think most people have a pretty good sense of what that means. I think with incentives, I'm one of those people who believes that the only reason you are here, the only reason that you may be somewhat popular, very popular, is because of the viewers. You owe it to them. Yes, you're giving them something. Yes, you're being creative. And yes, you may be doing a really, really good job. But none of that matters if no one watches you. So if you're going to do incentives and giveaways, it needs to be out of gratitude. You need to be giving something back. You need to be making them feel good. I think what some people do is they're lazy or they're egocentric.
There's a lot of those.
In the way that there are a ton of them, because that's the nature of the beast. Media is egocentric. Now, you can be egocentric and a really good person. You can be aware that you might be a narcissist or whatever, but still be a good person. And then you have people who are in denial and, they can't hear anything. Do I have an ego? Why, sure I do. But I make fun of myself about it too. Don't take it seriously. Anyway, with incentives, I'll give you 2 examples. Say there's a 500 follower goal. Now, I'm someone I don't really like incentives, but I understand them. Anyway, 500 follower goal. Person A does, say they're, I don't know. Say they're an Overwatch streamer, okay?
Okay.
When they reach 500, they give away 10 copies of the premium Overwatch. Alright? So people get something. They want to share the game that they love with other people. Now, whether they're getting sponsored by Blizzard or not is a whole different story, but then you need some transparency there on that before you start saying, oh, this is coming out of my own pocket. Oh, wait, no, it's not. I'm getting paid to do it. Anyway, person B, we're going to assume person A is just doing it out of the kindness of their heart. Person B says, oh, wow, 500 followers and I'll acknowledge you. I'll let you speak to me one-on-one. We'll have a 10-minute discussion. They do this thing that's wow, thanks for your attention. It means so much to me.
Well, to be
fair... And I know people who do that.
To be fair in that aspect, most viewers who have stuck around with streamers for a while will probably want that anyway. Oh yes, you're actually talking.
But I mean, I think there's a difference between talking to Tim the Tat Man and talking to us. You know what I mean? We're pretty, if we're going to show some humility here, we're not big by any means. So talking to us one-on-one is just a normal thing you get in our chat or in our content.
Yeah,
it's
pretty much.
To be expected. For us to make that, a goal, it's like doing nothing different. So, what's the point?
Yeah.
But there are people who are disillusioned and think they're bigger or more valuable than what they are. I know my worth. I know I barely stream anymore because life's in the way. I do not expect to come back and be like, where is everyone? Drink my LaCroix. It's totally unreasonable. Now, if you're Tim the Tap Man or, I don't know, who's some other big streamers, or Markiplier, they get flooded with people talking and all sorts of attention. To get a one-on-one with them means a lot. It's actually a really good gift because their time is very precious. Our time's not that precious. I mean,
no, I don't know about you.
Relatively to us, it is because we have lives. But they do that full time. That's their whole life, pretty much. We do this as more or less as a part-time job or a hobby.
It's mostly a hobby.
You know what I mean? To take ourselves that seriously, and I think a lot of smaller streamers need to accept this. Though you have ambitions and think you can be a big streamer, you need to realize where you're at and act accordingly. Having ambition's good. Having dreams is great. Everyone should have both. But you should not be setting up this rinky-dink lemonade stand and asking for the same price as Mike's Hard Lemonade. I
don't know, that might be a good business model.
If you're just making lemonade out of the packet and you're trying to sell it premium LaCroix, you can't do that. People are going to look and see that your lemonade stand is made out of wood and nails, and you don't even have a business license.
I recently read about that people are getting mad lemonade stands for that. Those uptight people who get mad at a sunny day or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I've seen. I've heard about like Girl Scouts getting in trouble for that or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Anyway, incentives. I think you have to be careful, especially with your content. Now, if you're a variety streamer, this might change, but incentives where you change what you do, like what game you play, you really got to be careful, and this is with the whole thing of growth. Don't pander. Don't try to warp to what's popular. Don't try to do what everyone's into. Now, if what you're into just happens to be what's popular, say Fortnite. If you genuinely have loved Fortnite since it came out and that's just what you do and you've always been into it, I'm not talking about you. You're fine. That's just what you like. And that's a lot of people. But if you're someone who just jumps from boat to boat to boat to boat on what's popular, you're always going to be a step behind. Every time. And I don't think you're going to grow very well when you're constantly shifting your audience to what's popular. Now, are there people who just only watch what's popular and will go with that? Sure. But they're probably not there for you. They're probably there because you're playing the popular game. So the minute you switch away from a game they like to something they don't like, well, I guess they're not going to follow you there. So that's why it's important that you invest in yourself to be a good content creator rather than just piggybacking off of what's popular. Intentionally and piggybacking. Not because you like it, but because you're like, oh, there's money there.
I'm still waiting for the Fortnite bubble to burst.
It's not the worst thing it could have been. I prefer it over like PUBG and stuff. At least it looks kind of funny.
I prefer it for like the lesser loading times. PUBG, it took like about 5 minutes to find a freaking match.
Yeah, and the game was just kind of put together a little wonky, wasn't it? It's like loading in chunks was hard.
Yeah, it's very poorly optimized. But we're not gonna be talking about the logistics of popular games today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there another aspect of growth? Social media. Yeah, there is a good one.
Oh boy.
This is how the giants fall over. It's not really an important thing. Okay, it's important to grow with social media. It's so people know that you're here and what you're doing. But it seems like to me, especially when people are like growing at the top levels and they're like already up there, social media tends to be the thing that topples them over. Logan Paul again.
Well,
there's several examples of where social media or stuff they have done just ruins them. I think it's important that you have to remember that if you're trying to grow and you're trying to be professional, you need to talk like a professional. And I'm not saying you need to be bland and dry, but you have to keep in mind what you say. Because people are going to be reading it. People are going to be sharing it. So if you do something dumb and stupid, guarantee a bunch of people are going to see it. Now, it sounds really obvious, but when you're just, some guy with a Facebook, and you say something dumb, maybe 3 of your friends and your cousin will tell you you're dumb. There's a difference between that and like 4,000 people telling you to kill yourself. You know what I mean? They're different intensity. When you decide you want to grow and get bigger and be a content creator or a streamer or whatever, and you're going up the totem pole, it's going to get more intense as you go up. So there's a disclaimer there. If you say something to really make people mad, it's going to be more intense than your cousin just telling you you're stupid.
Yeah.
You better be ready. So I can understand why some people don't use a whole lot of social media. I mean, I really don't. The only time I ever used really my Twitter was to just, I knew people looked at Twitter more than Discord when it came out, because Discord was kind of newish. So I wanted to make sure people knew that I was live at the time. So I'd share it on there. But I don't go on there making like political rants, you know.
That would be the way for you to instantly get... Yeah.
Now, can you have an opinion? Sure, but be respectable about it. Use the appropriate language. I'm not saying you have to be PC and watch everything you say, or else, you know, XYZ feminist is going to come slit your throat. But treat people with dignity. Recognize that people disagree with you. And then you can share your opinion. And people will probably challenge you on it. But there's a difference in being challenged and pissing someone off and getting death threats.
Yeah.
So I guess a big thing overall that I guess we've been talking about is with growth, it's directly related to your behavior. Your growth is going to be determined in how you act. So if you act professional and you act with dignity and with genuine character, you're going to grow with that. They're going to follow the same line on the graph. But if you go down, so is your growth. So that's kind of like the moral of this, I suppose.
Morals. That's
the
funny.
golden rule. Treat people as you'd like to be treated. That's the key to growth. Golden rule. Coming from two people who are still trying to grow. So, you know that we're certified figures in talking about this topic.
Exactly. Well, I try to remain genuine with everything. Like, I don't try to force anything.
I say you would. I say you do.
You, on the other hand, though,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I say you do, as you hand me check to say that you're genuine.
Well,
you go cash this later.
You did demand 9K up front.
I did demand 9K up front.
Yep. Talking about incentives right there.
I'll see you after this podcast. Get him, bozo!
So...
I would like to see the underworld of, like, collabs. Especially the top level. Like, I want to hear those conversations that you don't hear. That would be interesting.
Well, for us, we just talk about weird stuff anyway, so...
If someone listening to this gets really, you know, famous and way up there and is working with people like Markiplier and PewDiePie and that, be super transparent. Let us see what those conversations are. I would love to know. Do they, like, bring bodyguards? Like, how does this go down? Do they meet in an alleyway, you know, with, like, PewDiePie and Mark working together? There's, like, $100,000 suitcase, and they're like, how does this work? Did they just, like, say, hey, what up, bro, and then come over?
I would assume, like, most big content creators probably just do that.
I mean, with, like, other media, you have to go through, like, attorneys and, like,
Well,
advertising people. Like, it's kind of an ordeal. But, you know, like,
internet
on
famous
YouTube,
is a bit different, I guess.
But they still make, you know, big figures.
Yeah, that's true. But
they're kind of all-inclusive on themselves. Like, they don't have a publicist, do they?
I'm pretty sure some
PewDiePie
do.
have a publicist?
I don't know anymore.
I mean, he said some pretty crazy things. I mean, he's dropped a few swears here and there that he shouldn't have. So, I don't know. I know he has people that, like, work with him to make videos and edit and stuff, but does anyone like a manager or publicist? If PewDiePie's watching this, please let us know. Do you have a publicist? If so, share them with us. I'd like to know what a publicist for internet people is like.
I'm pretty sure we could Google it and find out. and PewDiePie, if
Someone
you do
Google
watch this,
for me. I'm too busy drinking my wink wink LaCroix. Too lazy. But
I swear if LaCroix watches this and ends up offering a sponsorship, I swear.
I hope they like my voice I give them. I'm trying to make them sound like a really nice drink, even though they're not. Oh, that wasn't me. That was just the fizz of the sparkling water. Anyway, any other important components of growth? that you can think of?
I think we've pretty much covered everything about growth. I don't have anything else to add. Do you?
I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here. I want to make sure that we cover the bases. So we'll edit out all the that are about to incur. Or you can leave them in with intensity, I suppose.
Yeah, right.
Not trying to cover up the sound of the train.
I think it was.
Who hums like that?
I think it was. I don't think there's anything else we can really talk about.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a part 2 sometime. We can add more.
Yes, when I'm able to talk freely as well as Sten is.
Tim!
What?
This is a Tim the Tapman alert.
Oh, okay.
for the other Tim.
We never get it.
Rip Tim.
But yeah, I think that's gonna be the end of this episode of the podcast.
All right, it was a lot of fun. I got to yell about things for like an hour.
Just about. But yeah, you can find me obviously here or twitch.tv/SpikefireH2O. You can find Sten wherever he wants to shout out, which is right now.
I'm trying to hide, and you can't find me. Don't even try. You can't do it.
Okay, let's put it up on the screen. There you go.
No! I'm incognito! Just Google the Sten, and yeah, let me know what you find. I'm curious to see what everyone finds.
But yeah.
Hopefully not me.
Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Bye.
Bye-bye.